My advisor didn't agree with my previous topic, so I have to change it. This is my current topic. The first part is introduction. Western interpretation of India and bicultural identity. A post-colonial comparative reading of A Passage to India and The Midnight Children. Through the long history of Western literary interpretation of the East, the depiction of the former colonial India has been particularly noticeable. The colonization in India had tied the colonizer and the colonized, politically and culturally, strongly together within the duration of colonization and even after India's resumption of independence in 1947. Thus, some British writers have obtained access to life experience in India, while some Indian writers have gained the opportunity to receive Western education or even to settle in the West as citizens. And with the participation of these Indian English writers, the Western interpretation of India has been promoted prosperously. Based on two of the most famous Indian English novels, Forster's A Passage to India and Salman Rushdie's Midnight Children, this thesis explores to investigate the differences and similarities between the two novels written on India with special reference to their writers' racial and cultural identities. Belonging to different ethnic origins, Forster and Rushdie are with different Indian English identities. However, their similarly bicultural experience makes them fall into a semi-liminal space, where the tension forces between the Eastern and Western cultures have made. The discussions should result to advertise Orientalism and Homi Bhabha's The Third Space, and reveal the process that the liminal space creates. And with the two writers' exploration in their writing on India, major shifts in both British and Indian intellectuals' perceiving and acceptance of colonial rule are revealed. Forster and Rushdie are the representatives of Indian English writers, as well as Indian English people. Therefore, their writing on India may well serve as a mirror to observe the perplexity and courage of Britain and India. The second part is literature review. Nancy Harsack distinguishes the subject of gaze from the object of gaze based on the gaze theory, and discusses the process in which racial gaze in literary works makes the Orient the other under the gaze of the Occident. On this basis, Bhatia and Sunil analyze the historical process of the creation and evolution of Oriental images from the perspective of exoticism, and systematically explain the textualized features of Oriental images in English literature. Scholars such as Denis Quake and Simon Dury depicted the image of India constructed by British writers in the long history of Western literary imagination of the Orient. Rushdie and Forster are the representative writers of Indian English literature. For Rushdie's works, the mainstream research direction lies in the analysis of magic realism and historical metafiction narrative techniques, and the analysis of its construction strategy of cultural identity. Among these mainstream research directions, their focus is on interpreting the mixed discourse constructed by Rushdie's In Midnight Children, which transcends the Orient and the Occident and advocates the exchange and integration of Oriental and Occidental cultures, while the study of Forster focuses on the ecological Marxism, liberal humanism, and the post-colonialism embodied in his works. Further, among these researches, the one taking the post-colonialism as a start point is aimed to find the similarities between human beings through the discussion on cultural conflicts. However, from the perspective of post-colonialism, the comparative analysis of A Passage to India and Midnight Children is far less, and that's why it is chosen as my research topic. The third part is theoretical framework. The The post-colonial theory is a collective discourse of multicultural political theory and critical methods, including postmodernism, feminism, deconstruction, and so on. As an interdisciplinary criticism method, post-colonial literary criticism is mainly studies the influence and impact of colonial rule on the politics, economy, and culture of the colonies, as well as the derivatives of this colonial relationship and its present manifestation and actual situation. The theory I will apply are Edward Said's Orientalism and Homi Bhabha's third space in post-colonial theory. Here I am going to explain the definitions of the two theories. The first theory is Edward Said's Orientalism. In virtue of its strong political and economical strength, the suzerainty frantically deprives its colonized country and develops its own country with the plundered whales, making themselves always at the center, while the colonized country surrounds the suzerainty and exists as its foil. While the colonized country surrounds the suzerainty and exists as its foil. The second theory is Homi Bhabha's third space, where the colonists come into contact with the colonized. A mixed, contradictory and uncertain ideographic space is forming at the edge and boundary of the contact among different civilizations, which is an interstitial site between the native and the European, and between the colonists and the colonized. I will analyze the similarities and differences between A Passage to India and Midnight Children in the two theories, Orientalism and Third Space, and summarize the Indian images displayed by the two writers.
Thank you everyone. This is the end of my speech.